such a joyous moment to come to Boston. We had Steve in Bristol, who was representative of that category of people who are very honest seekers. And he really impressed me. He got his realization and he was lost. I didn't know where he had gone. And when I came back from Paris, I received a very nice telegram from him saying that Boston would like to have the program. I knew there were lots of universities here and many young seekers and many people who are thinking of the beyond. It's a new category of human beings that are born. Absolutely a new category. Such a category never existed before, which is seeking. They are not satisfied with what they have. It's not only the after effects of affluence. Some people feel because affluence came to America, as a result of that, people are sort of dissatisfied with all the material wealth and material things that they are seeking. It's not the thing. This is the time, a special time, where people are to be born. This has to be done. You are not seekers of today, you are seekers of many lives. And you have been seeking. It's mentioned in one of the very old Puranas, called as Nala Damayanti Purana, that Kali Yuga is the time when thousands of seekers will be born and they will get their realization. It has been announced by many, many poets also. In England we have one, William Blake. I was amazed the way he describes that. He says, men of God will be born in these special times. And they will become prophets. And they will have a capacity to make others prophets. Apart from that, he has mentioned precisely where the center will be located, where are we living first, and it's amazing how he has prophesied all these things. We have to think very scientifically also about certain things which cannot be answered otherwise. Why have we become human beings from amoeba stage to this stage? Is there any purpose of our life? When Warren was telling you about Sahaja Yoga, you might be thinking, how can that be? It sounds very fantastic, it's very incredible. Everybody had this feeling that he might be the greatest crow or maybe something out of the blue. I could see your expressions that how can it be so fantastic? And it sounds really very fantastic in this mad world when you see all kinds of funny things happening around. And when you find no hope, you read books of shocks and things that the whole world is going to collapse and people are waiting to have a kind of a catastrophe falling upon us to end up all our problems. At that time, somebody comes and tells you there's a way and a method, and so fantastic. But it is not. It is not fantastic. It's nothing special. For example, we have an equipment like a television, and you tell a villager in India that this television can show you some films and can sing and can give some music. They said, how can that be? It's just an ordinary box. There's no one inside it. You just see an ordinary glass and a very ordinary backlight outside. How can it sing? How can there be a film? How can there be a drama in it? They can't believe it. And you put it to the mains, and the whole fantastic thing becomes a reality. So firstly, we have to have self-esteem and self-knowledge, even rational. That God has made us, or whatever you may call it, has created us out of a small little amoeba must be some purpose. There cannot be a purposeless game that we became human beings. This first logical conclusion we should come to. Then the second should be, why are we human beings? Are we here just to live like animals or to do something more? Why is it we do not know? Now what is our purpose? Maybe we are in transition. Logically we reach a point where we know that we are in transition. Actually you know that, in a way. In your unconscious, you have that feeling that you are not that what you should be. There's something beyond. That's why there is a seeking within us. That's why we are seeking something beyond. Because we are not satisfied with our purpose. We think we haven't got the full idea of our purpose. Now on one side we have all the scriptures. You have to be born again. You have to become the spirit. You are the spirit. On the other side, we have science which says, oh, there's nothing like spirit, all nonsense. And we get completely torn between these two ideas, one of complete negation and one of complete assertion. Those who talk of spiritual life and spirit, and those who talk that we are spiritual beings, behave in the most atrocious manner. And we can't believe if this is spirit, it's better to have a Satan. It comes to that point that we really get frightened of. Like in Algeria, the fundamentalists started asserting themselves too much. So the young people felt that this horror is going to happen here. Iran is going to come down here. And they got such a fright with these fundamentalists that they said it is better to organize a communist organization so that at least we are saved from these horrible fundamentalists. And when they tried that, one of them came to London. It happened that he came to see me. He got his realization and he was amazed. By becoming communist, they had negated the existence of God, existence of spirit, spirituality. But then he found there is God. Neither in those fanatics nor in those deniers. He exists. He exists within us. The spirit is within us. But it's very difficult to believe. And to believe blindly is not going to help you. No use believing blindly. Those people who have blind faith are going mad. I mean, they are crazy people. They are not normal at all. They behave in such a manner that you cannot explain why they are like that. Now, if evolution has to take place, if we have to find our absolute, if we have to become our purpose, we are going to be very normal people, not abnormal. We are going to be the people who will be master of ourselves, minimum of minimum, so that we are not enslaved by nonsense. We will become equipped with awareness which will tell us to discriminate from falsehood, the truth. Like as human beings, we can discriminate many things. If you put a horse through a dirty lane, he has no smell power. He cannot discriminate. He just goes through without any difficulty. We can't even enter into such a lane. Our nose can discriminate. Our eyes can discriminate the color, the beauty, the whole thing. Our ears can discriminate the music, which animals may not be able to discriminate to that extent. Some of maybe a little bit, but not to this extent. So we have an awareness which can discriminate. So we have achieved through our evolution an awareness. So what do we have to expect is that awareness has to become something different. If the transformation has to take place, it has to come in our awareness, by which we find our absolute, and that should help us to command ourselves. As he has told you, examples of people say, let's just start jumping. No, it's very easy. Anybody can do it. If human beings can do it, it's nothing special. If divine has to do it, we cannot do that. Like we cannot transform a flower into a fruit. We cannot. We see thousands and millions and billions of these, but we are not surprised. We take them for granted. See the seed, how it sprouts by itself spontaneously. Because it's a living process. Living process takes place spontaneously. If it's a living process, evolution, if it's a living God, then the happening has to be living, which you cannot achieve through your mental projections, neither through your efforts. Some people stand on their heads for days together, especially in India. They cannot get to God. God has put you on your legs, not to stand on your legs. We have to be more sensible about things. How can it be by standing on your heads, you can go to God? They say that by standing on your head, the Kundalini will start going down due to gravity. But Kundalini goes against gravity. Always you'll find that living things can go against the gravity, like a tree can grow against the gravity. So if it's a living thing, how can it be such an absurd thing that you stand on your head and you get your realization? I mean, I have seen people standing on their legs with one leg around their necks and with one leg somewhere, I don't know how they are managing. And some people are feeding them food and some say they have been like this for 3 years. They can be like that for 300 years, but they cannot get realization. So by putting any effort, we cannot get realization. It's a very simple thing to understand, but sometimes we do not catch the simple things as they are, because we are a bit complicated. Say a seed, if you have to sprout, what will you do? You put it in the mother soil, isn't it? Simple thing you do. It's all built in. The primule is built in, the capacity to germinate is built in, and also the cotyledons or the food for that is built inside. You don't have to do anything about it, you just put it in the mother soil and the mother soil does the job. Do you stand on your heads or say some mantra or do all these nonsense? Never. So if it has to be a living thing, it has to be spontaneous. Within us all these things are placed. I assure you, it is there. They are all there, quite intact in all of them. There's nothing new I'm telling you. It's absolutely there. In the sacrum bone is the Kundalini. Now you'll be amazed, this bone is called as sacrum even in English. It's come from Greek. And in Greek language, sacrum means sacred. So the Greek people knew that it was a sacred bone and there was something that was very sacred. And when I went to Greece, I was amazed that they knew about the Kundalini. Athena is the word, comes from Atha, means the primordial. And she has the snake in her hand and she has the chakras. And so much was known to them, and when I asked them how all this knowledge came to you, and they told me this knowledge has come to them from some Indo-Aryan group coming down, and they told them. Whatever it is, thousands of years back. It was not after Alexander, but much before him. This Acropolis was built, and this was established, that this was the sacrum bone. This knowledge was also known, I'm sure, to English people, in a way. Because when I went to Stonehenge, I was amazed. It was all built in the way a Kundalini should be built. And it had tremendous vibrations, cool vibrations. You can't make it out. Once you are realized, you will feel it. You will know which are the living places from where the Mother Earth is giving you these vibrations. For example, in the Bible, there is a commandment, thou shalt not reproduce anything that is created by the Mother Earth and the sky. Now what is being produced by the Mother Earth? These things. In India, for example, this knowledge was known to many because perhaps I feel life in India has been a very easy life. You'll be amazed. Those you think that they are poor people and all that. But life is much easier. You see, riches also gives you complications and tensions and nonsense. They're simple. People, they can live under a tree. It's such a nice climate. We don't have to wear a sweater to go out. You can live under the tree in a very simple way, and you don't need much. You can live in a forest, eat fruits, and have some other things to eat, and you can be really very happy there. And such people went into the search of finding out why are we on this earth? Why? The why of it is never answered by science. Science cannot say why there is gravity. It cannot say. It cannot answer. They are honest because they don't know. Whatever they don't know, they don't want to say. And that's how they cannot answer the question why. These people went into themselves to find out the reason. Why are we here? What is the speciality? Why God has created us with such immense care, with such immense evolution? Why this evolution? For example, Darwin and all these people established there was evolution. But why? What are we to become? What is our future? I would say in psychology, Jung is the one who really, we can claim, has done something really good. And he did say that you have to become the spirit. You have to become your unconscious. The unconscious has to become the conscious. He also said you have to become collectively conscious. You have to become. Becoming is the point. It's not lecturing or brainwashing. You have to become. As you have become human being, you have to become that spirit. It's the actualization. It's not just talking about it. But I don't know how many unions you have here. But for example, in England there are only 12, and they are one better than the other. The less and the better about them. Because being rational, rationality can make anything out of it. I mean, you can justify any murder, anything. Rationality after all. But logic is different. Logic is based on wisdom. And wisdom comes by balanced life. Those who lead a balanced life develop that wisdom and understand that we have to find out why are we here. But we cannot find out. This is the biggest problem. Because a light which is not enlightened cannot enlighten itself. Only an enlightened light can enlighten another light. It's a simple thing, you see. Now there's say a candle is here. Now, if we say to the candle, will you please get enlightened? It won't. You stand on your head, do what you like. But the candle won't be enlightened unless and until an enlightened light goes near that enlightenment. So, one may think that I am doing this, and actually I don't do anything, to be very frank. Nothing. You have got everything just here. I am enlightened, and you get enlightened. That's all. There's no obligation, nothing. Only thing, if there is anything, I am obliged, because I can't enjoy it myself alone. It's like drinking alcohol at home. You can't enjoy it. You want others to enjoy. That's the main thing why I am here. And I know you are seekers. You are that category. You are that special thing, and you have to have it. It's a very simple relationship we should establish among ourselves. If that is the case, then this happening takes place within us. And it rises. It's described very clearly in many books that are in Sanskrit language. For example, people, if they have to read about Kundalini, they read the books written by people who have no idea of Kundalini at all. Some say it is in the stomach, some say it is in the head, some say it is in the nose. They do not know where the Kundalini is, and they are contradicting themselves. They confuse you and them because they are themselves confused. Kundalini is in the sacrum bone, which you can see clearly when it rises. It pulsates just like your heart. Not in everyone. If you are a fine instrument, a fine aeroplane, I should say, then you take off just like that. In a split of a second, the Kundalini rushes up. In a split of a second. It happened. I was amazed. I always used to say that I'll go to America at the right time. Let all these people collect their food, then I'll go. And I was amazed yesterday. Everyone got it just like that. You are a special category. You are, no doubt. You are seekers of a special category. You have been damaged, I know. People have exploited you. Doesn't matter. It's all intact there. And by the grace of God, you are going to realize, you are going to get it, and you are going to find it. This Kundalini rises, spontaneously passes through all these centers as I told you, and pierces through this, and you feel you have become absolutely relaxed. What happens? This center is very important. This is the center of Christ. It lies in the center of optic chiasm, in the brain, and controls on one side the pituitary and the pineal. By pituitary it controls the ego, and the pineal it controls the superego. We have these two channels within us, which are subtle channels, which actually give rise or manifest in the gross our sympathetic nervous system. The left side sympathetic nervous system and the right side sympathetic nervous system. This sympathetic left side acts for our emotions, for our past, and leads us to our collective subconscious this side. This one is the one, this power is the power of desire. In Sanskrit it is called Ichhasha. And this one is the power of our action. We do it through two things. One is our physical body and another is our mind. English language mind is very, very, to them mind also means if somebody is mad, they will say it's a mental case. God knows how to make minds. But we should understand mind means intellect. And the one that uses too much of this, or rationality, accumulates this ego here. The one who uses too much of this left side, which is the psyche in the terminology of Freud, though I think Freud was very half-baked. So, he did not need part of it. You see, you cannot deal with a subject only just taking one part. If you have to deal with a human being, you cannot hold up one hair and say this is it. That's why I call him half-baked. So this psyche part gives you all your conditioning and results into your superego. So you have got the ego and the superego both developing gradually, and when they close down, when you are about, say, 12 years of age, they completely close down. You develop the fontanelle bone area into a calcified, thick area, and you become Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z. Your iris develops, so you all become individuals, separate individuals. And all these separate individuals start working with these two powers that they have got. One is the left power and the right power, just like you use your brake and your accelerator. Now you start learning how to drive. Sometimes you go too much on the emotional side, then you get some sort of shocks, emotional side. All right, forget it. Then they come to the right side, then you start using rationality, your ambitions, this, that, and all the rat race you see is the right-hand side. All that, sometimes this side, sometimes that side. Then you start balancing. This balance, when it is established within you, then you know that you can drive now. You know how to use these two. When that happens, you become a driver. But still, you are not the master. When you become the master, you are a realizer. The master is in your heart, is the spirit. He is the one who is the knower of what you do. He knows all about you, but you are not conscious of it. It doesn't come into your consciousness, into your central nervous system. In the center is the parasympathetic nervous system, or I would say this is called as Sushumna, the subtle channel, which gives rise to the parasympathetic. You cannot control parasympathetic at all. Supposing you want to increase the rate of your heart. If you run fast, you can. But you cannot reduce it. That is parasympathetic. And this parasympathetic nervous system in the center is kept for controlling these two and giving you the balance. If you overdo something, your heart rate will go up. Then parasympathetic will bring it down. This is the balancing, coordinating, supplying energy in the center. It's the central part. Now, what happens in a human being? You tell them anything. Supposing you tell them that you have to wash this soup. All right. Then the bucket full of water they'll bring, they'll wash it so much that the whole floor will be blown off and still they won't be satisfied. I mean, the nature is to go to extremes. Because they think by going to extremes in their franticness, they will achieve some results. You can't. If you go to the left, what happens? And if you go to the right, what happens? We should see. I'm sorry today is the only day I'm here, and whatever is possible I'll try to cover, but it's a very large subject. Now, if you go to the left side, say you are extremely emotionally sort of romantic personality and you are absolutely emotional. So what happens to you? You start losing too much of your emotions, and then you read, say, persons like Lord Byron or someone like that, who takes out your eyes and washes them, sort of a person. You become a poet and you become very emotional and all sorts of things happen to you. You start moving on this side. The movement on this side is very dangerous because you go to the collective subconscious. First you think of your subconscious. Oh, how nice was my childhood and how was this. Then you also sometimes go to cemeteries, you see, to live with the dead. And you enjoy their company. All that is very dangerous, to go near dead. You have nothing to do with them, is a fact. But in England, I don't know here if you do the same thing. In the churches, all the dead are under your feet. It's a very dangerous place. I mean, you feel you are sitting on a cemetery. And the children also go there. It's a very dangerous thing. That now, the other day I saw a film on cancer. Very recent film. And they have discovered that there are some entities who look like proteins, they call them protein 58 and 56, which attack you. And when they attack you, the cancer is triggered. These entities, they say, the doctors, with all their honesty, are there only, as far as they know, are there in the areas which are unknown to them, but which were built within us from the creation. So this is your collective subconscious. They have admitted that this attack comes to you from the left side. So going too much onto the left side, you get these problems. For example, you smoke. I don't say you don't smoke, all right? Because I don't want people to go away. But you won't smoke after realization. You'll just give up, just like that. Steve did that. He used to smoke, and he's just given up next day. Because when you have found the real thing, you never get bored. And why should you smoke? Only because you get bored, you smoke, or you are nervous. You are neither nervous, nor you are bored of yourself. That's how you give up your smoking. Anything you do like that, what happens? The attention starts going towards the left. This chakra, the center, is the center here, like this, and the left and the right side. When you start pulling them too much, it starts separating, and the center breaks, and the date is there, they just sleep. With this disconnection, you become a person whose chakras are not connected with the mains. by which you become on your own, the cells, and they become malignant. There is no connection with the rest of the body. And supposing it develops, say, this smoking, it develops into your nose, for example, as a cancer. Your nose will start increasing with no proportion, with no relationship to your body or to your face. It will overpower everything else, and this malignancy can grow to any depth. This is a simple thing how cancer takes place. Cancer takes place on the left-hand side. When you move too much on the left-hand side, you get into a trouble like cancer. Or else, if you move too much on the left-hand side, then you can become a person in, I think the American calls it the one who goes gaga. I think I might, is it all right if I say gaga? Means a person who becomes mad, schizophrenic, all this sort of nonsense, for which you have to have a psychologist all the time attached. Actually what happens, the nature tries to balance you. You are using too much of your emotions, your heart. Actually you are using your heart, and you should really get a heart attack with that. But no, your brain goes out. See the balance. Your brain goes out when you use your heart. Now when you use your right side too much, for example, you are a great planner, and you are planning everything. Every plan goes out, no doubt. I mean, it fails. Otherwise you would have been much better off. You try to plan something, and you find what you create is a big atom bomb. There you try to plan something, you create another devil whom you see and you are frightened. You plan and plan and plan, and ultimately what happens? You find, oh, your brain has gone up. Now you can't stop thinking. In Switzerland I met a doctor. He said, mother, cut my throat or do what you like, but stop thinking. I'm growing now horns out of my thinking. So this brain goes on churning thoughts all the time. This too much of use of this gives you a problem which is very serious, which we are not aware of. First of all, the center, this one is here, is converting the fat cells in the stomach for the use of the brain. Do you know brain is nothing but fat? Is a, we should say, a very micro fine, you can say, or maybe to better cells of fat, and they are transferred here through this center. And this center, the second center, also looks after your liver, looks after your pancreas, your spleen, your kidneys, and also your uterus. So you neglect all others, and the first thing that happens, that liver is out. Can you believe that because you think too much, your liver is out? Now you develop two types of liver troubles. One could be a cold liver and a hot liver. With a hot liver, you are bilious all the time, horrible, your attention is terrible, you don't like anything, you are very fussy, you are irritating. If there's one car go forward, you must honk, and you are all the time irritated and heated personality. This heat, terrible heat, you can feel it in the presence of such a person, tremendous heat. And that is because of Mr. Liver is out. Also, you can develop diabetes. I'm told that if I cure your diabetes of people, I'll be arrested by your government. I mean, I think Christ would have been arrested, but I don't know if I cure. But automatically, if I cure, then they won't arrest me, will they? I mean, I won't touch you, but you might get cured of your diabetes. Quite possible, automatically. Not that I will touch you. Because diabetes is caused because of imbalance. You are using too much of this side is frozen, you get diabetes. You get spleen trouble of anemia and all that, and also you get kidney troubles, and you get uterus troubles. But the worst thing that happens to us when you pay too much attention to your body. For example, America special is very conscious of their body. You see, they have certain norms. Like you must have so much waistline and so much. I mean, in everything they have norms. It's madness, I tell you. And they try to become that. You see, we should be like that. I don't know if everybody is going to become a cinema actress in Hollywood or whatever it is. But every man and woman is busy jogging, doing this, doing that. They think by doing this, they are looking after their body. But body is not so. Body has no meaning without spirit. Body is the temple of God. If there is no God, this body has no meaning. Paying so much attention to body, your spirits get angry. And When you are using too much of this, what happens is a heart attack. You have a big ego there that covers all your brain, and that's how there's a big clutch on the heart and you get a heart attack. It's a fact. We have cured many people of heart trouble, of cancer. We have, no doubt. You can find out. If you want to give you the names of the people, you can write to them and find out. But that's not so important because all the cancer cases will come down here. I want you to become doctors first of all. If you become doctors, you can cure people also. First you get cured yourself and cure others. So this imbalance is built within us. With that, we become sick people physically on this side and mentally on that side. These days it is hard to find somebody who doesn't have some sort of a sickness. If nothing else, you have a cold or some sort of thing would be there. Now, this Kundalini is the one, she is the supplier of energy in the sense that the deities who are responsible for all these centers, she tries to awaken. Now, these deities are not for only physical, mental, emotional. They are also for spiritual. For example, the one I was telling you here of the optic chest. Here is the deity of Jesus Christ. Now you may say, how are we to believe? It's very simple. Once you have your realization, you try to raise the Buddha. And once you raise here, you will find mostly it will stop at this point when you see the red mark. It has two. One this side and one that side. But actually, the one side, the right side, is in front and the left side is at the back. So all this comes in the front. The ego and all that comes in front and the superego is at the back. Now here, right, this is the gate to this area which is the kingdom of God. Christ came on this. This was for the advent of Christ. Now see what a mistake they have got. Christ is to be awakened by a living Kundalini awakening. Once he is awakened, he sucks these two things. One stands for your conditioning or your so-called sins, and this one for your karma. And the whole thing is sucked. By sucking that, this opens up and the Kundalini rushes forward. This is the mechanism, the divine mechanism within us, which was there to say that you should have your baptism, that you are to be born again. Now I have seen people who said we are born again. I mean, they self-certified, absolutely. They are quite satisfied that they are born again. But how? I mean, how can you say that you are certified born again? It would be like saying we are certified mad. But how are you to wake up? It can be anything. If you are born again, then you have to be collectively conscious. You ask such a person, all right, tell me, what's wrong with this lady? Where is her Kundalini? What are the chakras she's catching? Do you know anything? No, that I don't know, but I'm born again. If you want to live in such a paradise, nobody can have. But we have to be honest with ourselves. And we have to know that on this earth we have come to seek our spirit, and that we should have. That is your right to have it. Like a person who has put lots of money in the bank, he has to cash it. Just that all. It's already there. I'm just here a banker. You can call me, not even a banker, I would say a person, clerk standing there, just seeing your checks and I have to cut it. And this is what you have to get, is your self-realization. Is the self that is within. For that, people say that we should really try to purify ourselves. That's one of the theories. We must try to get rid of our karmas and we should try to purify. Especially they use Krishna for a thing like that. Now, this theory of Krishna is, in a simple sentence, is that Krishna was the incarnation of diplomacy. He was the incarnation of diplomacy. He never came straightforward because he knew the stupidity of human beings. And he only talked to one fellow, that was Mr. Arjuna. And Arjuna was a great warrior till the war started. And then when he said that, you get yourself realized, you know yourself, and then you go to war. This great Mr. Arjuna says that you are telling me he knows myself, and then you want me to go for war. I can't understand how very. Krishna said, no, very good. It's very good. This diplomacy is always that you give an absurd condition. So the person goes on breaking on the absurd condition, and he reaches the point he knows that he is a stupid fool. That's the best way diplomacy works out. I don't know if you know this fact, but that is how a diplomacy works out. So he said, all right, very good. No, you do your work. You do all your karmas, everything, but put it at the lotus feet of your God, your Lord. Put at my lotus feet. You cannot. It's an absurd situation. As long as your Mr. Ego is there, you cannot do it. You may say, yes, whatever I do, I offer to my Lord. You cannot. It's befooling yourself. It's not being honest. Because you have still your ego intact. But after realization, what you say? You become a third person. You say, it's going, it's coming. For example, if my own daughter is there, if she says, you must give me realization, I'll say, I don't know, I'll try. If it works, well and good. If it doesn't work, it doesn't. You become a third person. You say, it flows, it goes. You don't say, I do it. That is the theory Krishna tried to say, that you become a karma, where you do not do it, it just works. You become just a medium of that power, which you see. You become hollow personality. That's what he said. But people do believe that we are working for our Lord. You cannot work for him. This is one of the theories that one should know. The another is of bhakti. In bhakti situation, that people say that we are suffering, we are doing bhakti, we should not enjoy life, anything, we are doing bhakti. Why are you suffering? Christ suffered for you. Did he leave anything for you to suffer? The Jews wanted to suffer. All right, suffer. They suffered. Are they still satisfied with their sufferings, or they want to have some more? Because they did not want to accept Christ, they said that we must suffer. Why must you suffer? And those who never suffer always say that we are suffering, like French. They are les miserables, all of them. If you go there, they told me, Mother, never say you are a happy person. I said, I am. What can I do about it? I said, no, you should be very serious. They will never take you. They will think this lady is absolutely ignorant. She doesn't know anything. There's a shock coming. Already they are waiting for a calamity in 82. See, they are all talking about it. If you go there, all the ladies are sitting there drinking and having women around, and they are the most miserable people, making everybody miserable with their misery. So that's kind of a misery we want to inflict upon ourselves. Oh, we are the most miserable people. There is no need for it to be. He has done it. Can you suffer more than what he has done? With all his powers, he suffered. He played that drum. You don't have to suffer. There is no need for you to suffer. He has done it. So in Bhakti Yoga, oh God, we are suffering. We should eat this food. We should not eat more clothes. We should not have this. It's all nonsense. It makes no difference to your body whether you eat 2 shirts or 1 shirt daily. Some people have a feeling that if you become primitive, so-called outwardly, you will achieve God. They have a feeling. I must tell you all that is truthful. You shouldn't mind. Now you cannot become primitive. He is also admitting your brain is too modern. You try. You cannot become primitive. By wearing dresses like primitive people, you cannot become. Primitive people don't think. Your condition is such that the whole ego has gone up and pressed this thing down like that. And a primitive man has only this, like an actor. His pituitary is not developed at all. His pineal is developed. And you cannot become, because your pituitary is overdeveloped. You see, your pituitary is pressing more, the ego is pressing more. So, all the modern people who think they can become primitive, they cannot. One must accept this. You can become realized souls, but not primitive. You cannot become primitive. So also the idea that by becoming primitive we'll achieve God is also wrong. Now he said that you do a bhakti too. And bhakti which is ananya, where he is not the other. See the trick of the trade. Where he is not the other. Now see the trick. When is it this? Then he is not the other. When you are the real so. Very clever. In the beginning only he said, he was not a businessman. So in the beginning only he said that you get into your jnana, means in your awareness. You have to get it in your awareness. In the beginning only he said so. But when Mr. Arjuna came with another argument, he had to tell him, all right, do your karmas and leave it at the lotus feet of God, which you cannot do, absurd. Then bhakti, you do ananya bhakti, which is not possible. It is wrong when people say we are doing bhakti. I mean, there's no connection. You are telephoning without any connection. You will be spoiling your throat if you go and say, oh Ram, oh God. You will be spoiling your throat completely. It's madness. To go on like this, chanting and going things, saying things when you are not connected with God. Actually, you do not know what you have to say. When the Kundalini rises, you have to know where it stops. Now, if it stops here, it's all right, Shri Krishna said. But if it stops here, then it is Sri Rama's. If it stops here, it is Christ's name. If it stops here, say for example, at the Navi, it is Vishnu's name. Then where is Muhammad? Muhammad and all these 10 gurus are all the primordial masters. But you must know where the Kundalini is. You see, without starting the car, what's the use of giving those toll? Your car is not moving. You are stationary there. Whom are you paying the toll? To whom? To the thugs. The thugs have taken full advantage of these naive, beautiful, great seekers who are on this. They are simple people. They believe all this. And nobody has explained to them that it is within lies the spirit. You are the spirit. You are your own guru. You don't need any guru. Of course you need a mother, no doubt, but not. Gurus who are real gurus are terrific people. I'm not like these, see, who just come and take money or all right, you are enrolled as this and this, finished. See, the society is formed. The only thing you have to pay some money. If you have a lot of money, you might get a higher position as a minister or something. Depends on how much money you have. And that's how you are enrolled, this and this and this. It's not possible. You cannot get a certificate. It's a falsehood. You have to get realized yourself, first of all. You have to feel the vibrations yourself. And you have to master the art, everything by yourself. And you are to be convinced that you now know what is right and what is wrong. You have to become your own master. Supposing somebody is jumping in a seat and he thinks that he's got realization, he's sadly mistaken, in simple words, he's possessed. Because if you are jumping without yourself jumping, means somebody is making you jump. And what is for jumping? You have to pay for jumping. And hopping like frogs. There is a guru who says he can teach you flying. Make him fall from this Pisa. What's that name? It's Leaning Tower of Pisa. Let him try for you. See, all of them ask him to do it themselves. At least this much you must ask them. See their lives, how they live. It has to be a holy person. Has to be a real person. Can't you see? You are all intelligent people. What has happened to your brains? I can't understand. How can you believe these people? Why do you want to fly? I don't understand. I really don't understand. Already you are flying too much. With too much, all the birds have run away. Are you going to become a bird or a frog? Now you are going to evolve into a superhuman being. So on this side is the collective subconscious. On this side is the collective supraconscious. In this area when you enter, say for example, even if you take something like LSD, you start seeing auras, you start seeing all kinds of things. I mean, I've seen people who have taken LSD, when they come and see me, they just see light and all those things. That means you are part of the future side. That's not important. Seeing is not important. To be is important. When you are inside this, you don't see the church, do you? When you are outside, then only you see the church. When you become that, you don't see things. You have to be, is the point. And when you understand this, you will not say that these are very special experiences of seeing. What is it? What have you got? Are you manifesting your powers by that? Say somebody, even now say, Warren was saying in superlative something about me. Forget it. What's the use? Even I may be anything. If I have not given you any powers, why should you believe in me? You should not. You are to be empowered, isn't it? A simple thing. It should happen to you. What's the use if I can bring something from the air and give it to you? All right. Say people are giving now Swiss watches. Imagine. Even Americans like that kind of a nonsense. All this spiritual jugglery, you get out of it. You are seekers, and you are seekers of truth. You have to seek the truth and the reality, and not all these nonsensical circuses that are going on. I have flaunted them 1970, 1971, 72. I came here in 1973. I didn't come to Boston, but I went to other places. And I told openly about all of them who they are, even their previous lives and what kind of an antichrist they are. They never arrested me, they never filed a suit against me, nothing. But now when you are hurt and damaged, I have to work. And I believe at that point that these are the seekers of truth and have been misled, misused and exploited. There's another thing which I saw yesterday, it's very common with the Western people, is why should not criticize anyone? Why should I not? I'll 100 times criticize. I'm not afraid of that. Because you are seekers of truth. You are trying to find God. They are antichrist. They have ruined your Kundalini. They have ruined. One fellow, his Kundalini was frozen yesterday. I couldn't raise it. I tried my level best I could. And I criticized the man with whom he was connected, who looks so horrible. Fellow, I said, you don't see his face? He said, he's very beautiful. I said, from which angle? If a child sees him, the child might go into a tantrum. And this fellow was so attached to that one. He said, Mother, you should not criticize me. He's my guru. I said, all right, you go. What did he give you? Only thing, I have some problems. I get sometimes absent-minded. And I get epilepsy. Then why not go to your guru? Why have you come to me? There are people who were rich people. There's a girl who was a granddaughter of a duke in England. She is lying on the street, her little child, and her husband has nothing left, who was a diamond merchant. She is epileptic, her daughter is epileptic, her little child is epileptic, the husband is epileptic. Do you mean to say I should garland these gurus who have taken all their money, put them on the streets and have treated like this? Now, by God's grace, today she's cured, she's all right. But this is what it is. You don't know what you're facing. There is an equal and opposite, negative, and the God's force is working out. Please be careful. Try to understand. It's very subtle. It hits you. If you are genuine and if you are interested really in your spirit, you should get it and you should give it to others. I'm sorry today the time is very little and I won't be able to talk about it anymore. In this short time, whatever was possible, I tried to tell you. But there are about 500 lectures I've given in England. I'm in England because my husband got elected to a position there. That's how I went there. Normally I work in Indian villages. That's the best place one can work it out. Where, as he said, thousands get realization, no doubt. And in our own simple way, we advertise. Actually, we don't know the American style of advertisement, whatever was possible. And Steve said I must come, so I came here. I'm happy to meet you, and I'm sure all of you should get your realization. If you have any questions, all right?
questions?
Please.
Yes, do we need to have any previous experience in this particular type of yoga?
No, not at all.
To exp
Nothing needed. Even if you have had no experience, nothing is better, because most of these experiences I've seen are on the other way around. Because when people try to put the Kundalini, those who are not authorized, they try to excite the Kundalini from the wrong side. Like they put their fingers in the plugs and say that the electricity is shocking. Many people like that. I'm told there is a foundation like that, which is doing research in how to get shocks out of Kundalini. You will get it when you don't know how to handle it, you will get it. There is no experience is the best. Such a person is the best. If you have had experiences, I've seen people had experience of this Kundalini, they get a complete round. Their neck blisters, they get heat, they start jumping, they start screaming, they become like donkeys or sometimes like earthworms, they just crawl up, all sorts of things. That's not Kundalini, that's all pulsations into things. So it's very good if you have had no experience, is the best thing. But even if you have, it doesn't matter. It can work out. Yes, please?
Yeah, I was just curious about the fingers in the hand that you had mentioned earlier. I know you didn't speak of that, but that being corresponding to the chakras. Could you speak of that a little bit?
Here you can see they have shown the hand. This is the left side and this is the right side. Alright? Now there are, in the hands are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 chakras. Alright? Now these are corresponding, as you can see here clearly, with the things. We have got books to show you, and on the book it's all written down. We've got small books which you can read, and all these corresponding things are given from which you can make out which chakra is catching, where it is catching. Even if you have, say, children who are realized, 10 children will put them, and if you sort of tie their eyes even if you want to, and ask them, now what's wrong with this gentleman, for example. So they will raise one finger, meaning this center. Now this is the right side, which is this. Means a person must be suffering from cold or some sort of a problem on the right hand side, which of course we can understand from these books. We have given it elaborately. There are 16 subplexuses here, which are controlling ear, nose, throat and all these things. It's all clearly given. We have a book. Have you got? Now this is one of the small ones. I gave a lecture in the Indian Medical Institute about this, but we have got these books with us, which you can buy. And I think how much you are going to charge them for that? 50 cents. Oh, free.
I'm not sure. I think
50 cents. You are charging for something or no?
Oh, these are just the printing costs of the little booklets.
Oh, why? Let it be. What is 50 cents? Also, I mean, if they want to give it, otherwise we can afford. All right. So these are the books here. You all can have it. All right. Now, let's see these books. So actually, we have no problem. We have only one problem: how to reach the seekers. Each one of you can have. Yes?
You talked about this sacral bone being the center of the source. Suppose you have an injury in that particular bone, a medical injury on the mat. Can you still learn?
No, still we,
balance?
I know, we can put it right. If it's an injury of source can be put right. For example, all these problems of what you call, what do they call this? Arthritis, or also they have these spondylitis, all these can be cured. They are first cured and then all these problems can be cured. You can cure also, once you are realized. She looks absolutely blasted. She's got it. Any other questions? You see the book yourself. If there's any problem, you can see. Here maybe the chakras are given here clearly. And these are all the details about the chakras, all right? Now, here, how they go out of order, what happens to them and everything. And also, I think the mantras are given here.
Yes.
It's here.
In fact,
It's done well. I think it's all right. It's done in India. I hope it works out. It gives you the basics. We have a very big elaborate book also written by a Swiss French called as Advent. But in Sahaja Yoga, we have a system in which first you should get your realization, first stage. Then you must establish your realization. Second stage. First you get your thoughtless awareness. When the Kundalini passes over Agya, you get your thoughtless awareness. You become absolutely thoughtless, first. Then when it crosses there, you get this cool breeze coming out of your head. Then we should say you have got your realization. But still establishment is the most important. You have to establish it. Once you have established it, then only we sell that book. Because it is too much. I mean, people read and reading itself is a headache. So first of all, it is simple thing like this, that if you have to know about this room, there are no lights and you are blind, so first of all, your eyes must be cured and there should be lights. Then you see this room. Settle yourself down and then you can get it. Because no use telling you about all the electricity and everything about it, all the history, the invention of electricity and all the people who invented. It's very boring. So best thing is, first of all, you get your realization, settle down. Once you are settled with it, then only we sell that. In the same way, my photographs have vibrations. These photographs also, we normally give to people who have settled their realization. But it helps. Even this photograph on the thing has got vibration. This photograph has got it, if you see. Have you got the printed?
we've got them.
Printed ones.
I don't think we'll have enough for all of them.
Printed.
Oh no.
No.
Have you got the printed ones here? Okay, let's have them.
Printed ones? All right. So you can take the printed ones. But the real photographs are also there, which they will give you as soon as your vibrations are set. It is between us that we should know that we have to pick up that. Why we don't give it? Because it's a little complicated. Like from in the first class you are there, then you go to the second class. It's for your group that you slowly do. And it works out. With some people it works out in no time, but with some people it takes time. So it has to be worked out by them. Come along, sit down. Here we go. It's written in the book how to use the photograph also. This is just a print. But we have real photographs which Steve can give you later. We leave everything with him. Now Steve has a small little room where he has arranged everything. He's here, come in. He's the one who has arranged all this. And he is the one who has put this advertisement and all that. And he's the one who has brought me to Boston. Now he's the one who knows about it. And also some people can come from New York, or you can come to New York. We're having our program there. Can you give them the, if you want to know, he will know our programs. And you can find out, and he can give his telephone number. Can you give your
We'll put a notice up of all the programs in New York so that they can all see them through.
No, but you tell the telephone number is best.
I'll give my telephone number to anyone who can leave there.
Do you ever go to California?
So I can contact them.
Fine.
Yes. Are you going to California?
Yes, I'm going to California, I'm going to Houston and to Vancouver.
I'm here visiting on business from
Is
California.
it? All right, we'll meet there. I'll be there for 10 to 15 days.
Which city?
We'll be in Los Angeles and maybe San Francisco.
I live in San Francisco.
San Francisco, yes, maybe. Just giving the phone number.
Yes. Would you make sure that, just so that he can let you know when the meditation program will be each week, give to Steve your name and address and he'll give you a ring or write a note to you as you go out. But
I mean, you people can arrange the same hall yourself, pay for it, all of you together, and can come down here. As far as I'm concerned, I don't need any money at all. You cannot sell it. It's love. It's love.
something very simple. Just this hall you can have it. It's simple now. You can't think of somebody who just loves for love's sake. Somebody could be there, one person.
Any other questions?
Would you know when Christ is going to come down?
Do you know when Christ is going to come down?
Don't ask for him just now. Let's all get well, then let him come. Because he's not going to tell anything, he's just going to sort. Alright? Better be postponed for a while. We have to save so many people. Many people are still in trouble. That time there won't be any persuasion, no counseling, no advising, nothing. That would be the end. Just the last of it. Alright? Any other question, please?